Very good. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 6th special meeting of Council. Amendments to the agenda?
Mayor Lawrence, I have none.
Thank you. Motion that the agenda for the special council meeting of March 6, 2023 be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Van Breda. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, I have none.
Thank you. There are 3 staff reports. I'll just use the consent agenda process to see, does anybody want to lift 4.1 dedicated gas tax for public transportation? Councillor Van Breda. 4.2 safe restart funding phase 4 for municipal transit. Councillor Timpson. And 4.3 award contract for CCTV project. Councillor Bone. Very good. We'll start with 4.1. And Clerk, would you like me to read the motion to put it on the table as the way we'll start? Good. Dedicated gas tax. The Council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 20-23, being a bylaw to authorize the Mayor and the Clerk to enter into and execute the municipal funding agreement for the transfer of dedicated gas tax funds for public transportation program between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and His Majesty the King and Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Transportation for the Province of Ontario. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Timpson. Discussion starting with Councillor Van Breda, I think it was.
Thank you. So we got nearly 51,000 in funds. So now that we just took this over under a year ago, right? So like, what are the main kind of concerns that this funding could help in?
So through you, Mayor Lawrence, we've been receiving this funding over the last couple of years. It can go to support almost anything in regards to operations. In the past, we've used it to help offset new buses. We've used it to help with signage, and it can be used for operations, anything to do with operations as well.
Okay. Could this be used to enhance the service and bring it to with the meeting we had in Hudson a few weeks ago? Could this money be used for that?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, if it's part of the operations, yes, it could be.
Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
Councillor Bone.
Part of the operations that entails transportation, correct? It has to be all transportation related?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, that is correct. So this funding is in particular specifically for the community transportation, which is known as Hub Transit.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, Council? Then I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 4.2, Safe Restart Funding Phase 4 for Municipal Transit. The Council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 19-23, being a bylaw to authorize the Chief Administrative Officer and the Treasurer to enter into and execute the municipal funding agreement for the transfer of Safe Restart Phase 4 funding for municipal transit between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and His Majesty the King and Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Transportation for the Province of Ontario. Moved by Councillor Van Breda, seconded by Councillor Bone, and discussion starting with Councillor Bone. Oh, this was Councillor Timpson. Thank you.
Yeah, it just seemed odd getting $6,000 from the government for restarting. Is it only for transit, or is it for everything? Or it just seemed like very odd.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, this is a safe restart funding for Phase 4, specifically for municipal transit systems that has recently come out, and we were notified that we were eligible for the $6,000.
Only for transit.
That is correct.
Just seemed out of nowhere it came.
Well, through you, Mayor Lawrence, in the past, there was a phase 1, 2, and 3 that went through the board themselves when the board managed it. And now that it's with the municipality, it flows through us.
Council, any further, CAO? Yeah.
Just to add a little bit more context, the Safe Restart funding, we did receive monies from the provincial government under the Safe Restart funding under another initiative to help us with COVID pressures for our general operations. So we received phase 1 and 2 funding, and this is specifically for transit, so it's separated.
Anything further, Council? Now that you've lifted it, Councillor Timpson, I'll ask Mike. If this is to be executed by the CAO and treasurer, that's because of the small amount, or
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, yes. So when the funding agreement came, it already had the CAO and treasurer's name attached to it. So instead of requesting a revised funding agreement and waiting additional weeks for the sake of $6,000, I had suggested that this one should be executed by the treasurer and the CAO.
thanks. It is unusual, though, right? Thanks. Good. Anything further? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. And finally, 4.3, award contract for CCTV project. The council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 18-23, being a bylaw to authorize and direct the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between Algoma Technology Services and the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux for the provision of closed circuit TV, CCTV camera project. Moved by Councillor Timpson, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. Discussion this time, starting with Councillor Bone. I think I got that right, did I? Yep, thank you.
I think I have a couple questions to staff on this. The first one, there's a line in here, given that council has approved $50,000 in capital expenditures for the Dock Moberly, pumping station cameras, additional cameras, Centennial Center. I'm just looking at these lines for funding and stuff. Down the road at the $26,000 a year, where will we get that funding from? The policing reserve or facility and utility reserves?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, because this is an ongoing annual fee, this would be budgeted for as part of the operating budget.
And
So this is not a new fee, but a replacement of fees that we're currently playing. So right now we have servers with cameras at the rec center, at the train station, at Centennial Center, at this building, at the library, at the airport. So we're currently paying fees on all those separate entities annually. This is now one fee because everything will be integrated into one system.
okay, and then the other question is on the quote in line 1. Initial on-site meeting with project coordinator, $17,877.81. I'm just wondering what that was for, broken down.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, we don't have any more specifics on that. That would be transportation costs, consulting fees, meals, per diems, that would be charged by the vendor.
Would that also include the initial install, or?
Yeah, likely that would be included in that. It may not be at the first meeting. This meeting may occur a little later on in the process, but yes, that would include the install work and time.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Timpson.
Yeah, the total is 159,600 co, and we have 143,000. This is for basically the GST, which we get back, correct?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, yes. Generally on projects of this nature, when we provide the quote, the total cost to council, we provide it with the net HST, i.e. only the portion that we actually have to pay.
Councillor Costco.
Now, what protections are in place with this contract that is there any protection that they don't go over the quote?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, yeah, so we will only pay what they've quoted. That's the maximum that we will pay to them.
Okay, so there's no way they can come back with another bill, so this is the hard amount.
The only way the cost would change would be if there was a change order to change the scope of the project, to do additional work, but if that was to occur, that would have to come to council first for approval anyway.
Councillor Van Breda and then Councillor Timpson.
So, two questions. So where will the cameras be going exactly on Front Street?
So there's actually a number of locations. They're not all on Front Street. So there will be 2 on Front Street, 1 on the back lane of King. I can circulate a map showing the various locations after the meeting. Potentially 1 at the intersection of Highway 72 and the hotels there, looking into town, and 1 on the water tower.
Perfect. And then what guarantees do we have? So let's say my fear is just like we're going to put up these cameras and then they're going to be destroyed within the first weekend. Like what kind of insurance do we have that in case they are destroyed by, just people and that they will be replaced? Because like if there's going to be a cost for us the entire time it gets destroyed, we have to cost it. It's, yeah.
Through Mayor Lawrence, so they will be installed in such a way that they will be as reasonable as possible out of harm's way. They're not going to be particularly low. They won't be within arm's reach. So certainly when and where they're installed will reduce the likelihood of vandalism. Additionally, the units themselves that we've selected or that we've spec'd are I won't say they're vandalism proof, but they're vandalism resistant in terms of their usage for the outdoors. They're also rated to -40, so that that's -40 without the wind chill. They should be robust enough to meet our needs here in the north. With respect to damage beyond that may occur either from weather or from vandalism, like everything else, it would be part of the municipal insurance policy, and we would do what we need to do if there was vandalism.
Councillor Timpson.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know with the annual support costs, service costs, how much are we saving any? What are we paying now?
So a couple of things, I guess, on that point. One, it is, just let me look at the cost here. It's about, it is about $6,600 more than we're paying now with all the other systems individually. However, this is also optional. We don't necessarily have to purchase this every year if we choose not to. I would certainly recommend it for year 1 and year 2. Beyond that, I would have to sort of re-examine the system to see whether or not that support was required.
Because year 1 is
Included.
so
Year 2 would be 2024.
we're paying for this year and then next year not too bad.
Council, anything further? On the breakdown of costs, did they break down their cost on a form that we provided? Or is
Sorry. Yes, I believe they have. Yes, and that breakdown is the same as the breakdown you see on the quote.
yeah, so that's, thanks. It was just, often a contractor or a bidder has to fit his costs into the lines that are provided by on the tender form. So if there's no line for some items, they'll shove it all in. It may make it look a little bit off balance. often, typically there's a mobilization, demobilization line or a living out allowance, whatever. It just varies. So it can make, to your question, Councillor Bone, that seems like a lot for an initial meeting, but they have costs that there was nowhere else on the form to put them, so they just decided to put them into there. Might take, Mr. Clerk, anyway.
Quite accurate. Thank you.
Councillor Cassidy.
I see the VMS software license fee is included with the hardware purchase. Is there any annual renewal for that going forward too?
Not for that portion.
Not for that portion? No. Okay, thank you.
Anything further on the CCTV award, Council? Seeing nothing, I'll ask all in favor. Carried. Thank you. Bylaws. That Council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 20-23, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into and execute the municipal funding agreement for the transfer of dedicated gas tax funds for public transportation program between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and His Majesty the King and Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Transportation for the Province of Ontario. And that Council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 19-23, being a bylaw to authorize the Chief Administrative Officer and the Treasurer to enter into and execute the municipal funding agreement for the transfer of Safe Restart Phase 4 funding for municipal transit between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and His Majesty the King and Right of Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Transportation for the Province of Ontario.
Through Mayor Lawrence, and my apologies, we also have bylaw number 18-23, being a bylaw to authorize and direct the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between Algoma Technology Services and the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux for the provision of closed-circuit television CCTV camera project.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Timpson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Confirmatory bylaw number 17-23, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux March 6, 2023. Special council meeting. We read a first, second, and third time and passed. Moved by Councillor Timpson, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, and apologies to the bulletin.